What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 14th day of December, and here we are sitting at about $89.3 thousand with 10 hours and 15 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are, right here, resting atop of our prior areas of resistance back here and prior support. You know, if we look at just this area, it might not seem as obvious, but if we're taking in our history into account, it's pretty obvious that where we are now, is a really good area to find support. Specifically, this 89K level, this 88K level is actually a really good area to find support. I'm actually curious, what about this low to this high here? What do we get with this? 786 bounce, getting above the golden ratio. It looks like we do want to continue higher. To me, it does look like we want to push back up to this 101, 102K area, something up here. But I would definitely think that we find support now. I'm assuming a lot of people are bearish right now, probably max bearish, just like they were at all of these other little lows, right? All we've done is we've seen a lower low from this range, of which we kind of barted down from. And then in this range, we were talking about how we likely would break down from it instead of breaking out to the upside, because I think that everybody's caught on to this BART dynamic at this point. So over the weekend, a lot of us were probably expecting that the price would move up because it's a BART, but we forecasted that we'd probably move down and then we'd move up, something like that, right? We might see something just like what we saw this time back here, right, where you get a lower low and then you move up, or here where you got a lower low and then you moved up. People who were assuming that we'd BART up this whole time, they were right, but they had to be tested first of their conviction before that came to fruition, right? We got to be tested first before our conviction is validated. If we're looking at this here, let's see, we'll put this line. The low, the very first low over here, was on Friday, the 16th hour of the day. 16th hour of the day on Friday. We go over here to this drop. The low was on the 16th hour on Friday. We go over here to where this lower low drop was, where we went from red to green, and that was on the 14th hour on Sunday. Right now is the 13th hour on Sunday. It's not the exact same, but it's pretty damn close. It looks the same. They're not even trying at this point, right? Clearly it's manipulated. They have their same selling orders and buying orders set in place. Sunday it is right now. And on the 14th hour, maybe the 16th hour, maybe it's the 20th hour, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some recovery. So place your bets, folks. We're probably pushing our way up to 92K or thereabouts. I wouldn't be surprised here. Whenever we pushed up, did we go all the way back to the top? No. We went to where the drop kind of started, which is right here. We literally stopped right where the drop started. Well, our drop started here, which is just above 92K. So I'm assuming we will see a fast reaction back up. We'll probably slowly climb back up to 92K and be there by tomorrow. That's my thoughts. So place your bets on poly markets, folks. We'll probably be at 92K tomorrow. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Anyways, 1 hour time frame. Looking at the RSI, we are at a low point. We're actually at a very low point here in the RSI. On the 1 hour time frame, it doesn't seem that way. Maybe some people are getting depressed because we're at 89K, and that's a huge difference from 90K, but it's really not that big of a deal. And overall, we still actually do have a really high, we have a higher low right here. It's actually a really good structure. You've broken out with very minimal volume. Like, this is on a Sunday. It's a Sunday dump. It's a weekend dump. It's probably not as reliable. And the RSI, again, the last time that we were this oversold, we were actually doing something very similar where we kept bleeding down. People thought that it was over, and then boom, we moved up. We keep bleeding down. People think it's over, and boom, we're going to move up. Stochastics are reset. The stochastics actually do look bullish here. The MACD does not look bullish here. And maybe we consolidate. Maybe we hang out in this area for a little while. Maybe it's toward the end of Sunday that we start to move up. I don't know, but I don't think that we have too much lower to go. We can go lower. That low that we had 2 hours ago at about 88.6K, we could go lower, but I think that's a good enough area, in my opinion. 4 hour time frame. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the low, is what I'm trying to say there. Because again, what we have is higher lows with basically a flat top. I mean, if you have higher lows with a flat top, that's typically bullish. It's typically a good thing, not a bad thing. So I think we're just shaking out the weak hands here. I'm kind of curious. Where's the let's get it here. Yeah. Liquidations. Okay. Over the past day, wow, just as many longs as shorts. That's wild. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there's some more shorts than longs over the past 30 days. More shorts than longs. It doesn't even show all the data, right? This only goes up to $102,000. There's a ton of shorts that are sitting up at these $105, $110, $120,000 areas. There's actually a ton more shorts piled on than longs, but I digress. I'm kind of impressed by how many longs there are, actually. Anyways, for Bitcoin, though, you guys remember there was a time where on a 30-day period, the total on one side was 20 billion, whether it was shorts or longs. When we were at these extreme areas to the high side or to the low side, we had $20 billion. Now it's like 7 billion, 7.5 billion. It's definitely diminished. But this isn't a full representation, right? There's more, again, there's a lot more leverage trades to the upside. Anyways, Bitcoin here, that didn't really help too much. We do know that we're short side dominant, which most people are probably going to be short side dominant right now because we're at this low point here. I'm kind of curious to see low, connect the lows there. Yeah, we could go lower. You know, is this line too obvious? Is this too obvious of a line? People are expecting it, thinking that we're going to go down there and find support, and this is the obvious breakout. We're going to go down here to find support. And then they're left wanting because we actually don't go down there to touch it. This is actually a very bullish sign. If you reach for a trend line like this and then you move away from it, it's called a partial decline. It's actually a really good thing. Or do we keep going lower and then go below it? That's also possible. We're addressing the possibilities here because I think it's important to be open-minded. Don't be convinced of one direction or the other. You're likely going to be thrown for a surprise. I wouldn't be surprised at all if this was the low and we moved up from here. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I also wouldn't be surprised if we broke this trend line and then we moved up from here. You know what I mean? Like it could literally work out that way. I would be surprised if we got a perfect touch on this trend line and we bounce, because that's likely not what happens. But most likely, I would say we probably are at a low point. We probably do move up. But if we do go below this trend line, here's where people will capitulate. That's where everyone's going to sell. That's where the smart money steps in to buy. And that's where we reverse. Okay. Once we get above about 94K, that's where we break out, and we will continue moving higher up to about $99,000 to $102,000. The 4-hour time frame here, you have lower lows in the RSI. No higher lows. I mean, no, it's choppy. It's weird, man. Honestly, the RSI is not going to help us here. The only thing that I could say is that really since the lows, every time that we've been down around the oversold zone, we've been at low points in our price as well. Every time we've been up around the overbought zone, we've been at high points as well. The RSI is kind of useless because we've been choppy and sideways. The stochastics will be useless because we're choppy and sideways, but not completely useless. It's just more of like different rules. Now that we're down here, maybe this is a bullish thing instead of a bearish thing. Maybe this is a bullish thing instead of a bearish thing that we're crossing the red. We actually do have bullish divergence. Oh wow, look at that. It's just one drive of bullish divergence, not double bullish divergence, but still this is nice. You can see the momentum is shifting here, right? These higher lows. That's actually nice. I think this is the 4-hour time frame. I think something big is coming this next week. I think this next week will be the week. Mark my words, that Bitcoin pushes up toward this 100K level. I don't know if we get above 100K. We very well could stop right here at these areas of support, which are just right at 99K, but whatever. Maybe we go just above 100K. But that move, I think, is coming over the next 7 days. Daily time frame here. Yeah, I think we're at the low, man. I think today the low, $88,687, I think that was the low. It could, if we go lower, barely, and it won't be significant. And the time that we spend down there is insignificant in itself, but I doubt that we do. I think that we found the low. I bet we start moving up as people start waking up. I see a lot of people on X.com blaming the Americans. They're saying whenever the American markets wake up, we dump. But I don't know if it's the Americans dumping. I mean, maybe they're dumping. maybe Americans are dumping whenever they wake up, but I think they're being misled, because if you notice, what happens is when America is waking up, you guys, the price will typically move up or down. It'll move in whatever direction it's moving. And then after everybody's woken up, it moves the opposite direction. It's like it's actually, I feel like I'm seeing people say Americans are causing the price to go down, but I think Americans are the patsies here. They're the ones getting played, genuinely, because if you notice, most of the time, the market actually, around this time of day when America is waking up, it typically reverses. Like, mark my words, we moved down, right? We broke out to the downside. Now that America's waking up, I bet we reverse to the upside, right? If we were pumping, it'd be the opposite. I believe that's what happens, because I think there's psychological warfare, and we're at our most maybe susceptible right when we first wake up to our emotions. Maybe, I don't know. That's why, kids at home, it's important to not get on social media when you first wake up or right before bed, because you're your most emotional at those points. Seriously, by the way, on a totally different note, let me look at you guys in the eyes here, because I'm actually serious about this. If you're the type of person that gets in arguments on social media, or you say things and you're like, why did I even butt in? Like, I don't even care about this. Why? Like, I'm not even an asshole. Why am I giving crap to this random person I've never met? If that's you, and my camera's glitching, whatever. If that's you, stop using social media before 11 in the morning and after 11 at night, and see if that changes your world. I'm telling you, it's a good golden rule. Don't be on the socials early in the morning or late at night, because you never really post anything that matters. It's just emotional BS at that point. Or I don't know. Anyways, we're on a whole different note here. Let's get back to the daily time frame. We're looking at this from a high to a low. We're right at the 236. We're right at prior areas of resistance. A very clean line of resistance and support. I mean, what do you think is going to happen next? I think we're moving up, guys. I mean, it's clear as day. Oh, we're moving down now over the past few days. Guess what? The volume is absent. The lowest levels of volume we've had have been on the past 2 or 3 days. And the last time that we saw low levels of volume, like even close to this magnitude, was here when we were at our last low. And then I guess here too, we were forming our low, but we actually did have a lot of volume on that day there, to be completely fair. Maybe we need a lot of volume. Maybe today will be a lot of volume whenever we pump up. I don't know. But from here, the next target would not be the 382. No. The next target would be the 0.5. Yes. And that's at $101,000. Bitcoin likely does find support at its 0.5 or resistance there. I would imagine. I was thinking all this time that Bitcoin doesn't get above 100K by the end of the year. I think we barely get above 100K, and then from there we come back down, and we'll probably go back below 90K. Anyways, I got nothing else. Thank you all for being here. And genuinely, again, pay attention to that last part that I was just saying. What I just said there actually is like forecasting the next couple of weeks. Over this next week, by the, if it's 7 days from now is the next week, is the end of this week. It's the 21st. Right? I think it'd be the 21st. Yeah, 21st is Sunday. So the 22nd, if by the 22nd we're up here, and then we correct for the rest of the year, that's kind of what I'm expecting there, right? We'll move up to 101K, 100K, something around there, 99K, 102K, whatever, move up there, and then we'll find resistance and come down, and I likely would think that we go below 90K again. So we will find resistance before Christmas. We will move up before Christmas, and then during Christmas week, mark my words, we will be moving down into the rest of the year. Santa Claus rally, end of year rally, you're going to hear everybody getting louder and louder about it until that week happens, and it's not going to happen. It's, mark my words, we're going to pump into Christmas week and then dump out of it going into New Year's. That's the thought. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.